If you are a homeowner who lives in flood zone AE, then this video today is for you. We're going to be breaking down the 2026 flood insurance guide for you when it comes to flood zone AE. So let's get started. Hi, I'm Chris with the Flood Insurance Guru. More than a decade ago, I bought a property in flood zone AE and I almost lost my house because of wrong information, extremely high premiums. I've been helping homeowners in flood zone AE like yourself now for almost 15 years. And in today's video, I'm breaking down what you need to know in 2026. What is flood zone AE? How do you control premiums? How are premiums determined? What are your flood insurance options? What are the requirements of flood zone AE when it comes to your bank? So we're going to be talking about all those things. So by the end of this video, you should understand almost everything you need to know about flood zone AE. And just in case you don't, in the description of this video, you can always download our guide on flood zone AE here in 2026. So first of all, let's talk about what is flood zone AE. Flood zone AE is part of the special flood hazard area, that 1% chance of flooding, 100-year flood zone. 1% doesn't sound very high, does it? But this is actually the highest chance of a property flooding in a given year. You've got a 1% chance and typically a 0.02. This is called the 100-year area, 500-year area. It's important to understand that. So that's what flood zone AE is. If you have a mortgage and you're located in flood zone AE, typically flood insurance is going to be required. But what are those requirements here in 2026? A lot of those requirements have been changing through the years, but typically here's what we see. A bank's going to require a lesser of these two things for you. Either the max coverage available through the federal flood insurance program, which is $250,000, or your loan amount, whichever one's less. So let's say you only have a loan amount of $175,000. Your bank may only require $175,000. So that's what the bank requirement's going to be. Now, what are your flood insurance options in flood zone AE? In 2026, you've got the federal flood insurance program, also called the National Flood Insurance Program. And then you've got private flood insurance. These two options are available to every loan type here in 2026. We hear from people every day, my bank won't accept private flood insurance. Yes, they will. It just has to meet certain conditions that fall under the private flood insurance clause. I'll be talking about that later on in this video, what to look for on those private quotes that you may be getting from insurance agents to make sure it meets your bank's requirements. So those are your options. And that's what the bank's going to require. How much flood insurance do you need in flood zone AE here in 2026? It's what we hear from people every day. Well, a loan amount's only for $175,000. Why would I just not take it out? It's all the bank's required. This property's been here for 50 years. It's never flooded. That's a question we hear from people every day. Here's what you got to be careful about. The majority of flood insurance companies use this thing called replacement cost. That's the actual cost to rebuild your property. If you don't insure for at least 80% of that, many times they will default your property to what's called an actual cash value policy. This means if you take out a policy with a bank for that $175,000, you may only get $120,000. Then what happens to the difference there? Well, you may have to take out a SBA disaster loan to cover the difference. So imagine this. You've got this home that's damaged by a flood. You're having to pay your mortgage. Now you're basically having to pay another mortgage on top of that because you didn't have enough flood insurance because you were trying to save about $10 to $15 a month on average. That's exactly what we see it cost people every day. And the difference, I've seen it happen time and time when people have had to take out these SBA disaster loans on houses they don't even have anymore. They had to do a 30-year mortgage, even though it was a lower interest rate. They had to take out $250,000 just to cover that difference because they didn't have enough coverage to even pay off the loan. So you want to be careful there. So in flood zone AE here in 2026, let's talk about the difference from replacement cost, actual cash value, which we briefly just talked about. Replacement cost is the actual cost to rebuild your property, then bring it back to what it needs to be. Actual cash value is going to take out depreciation. If you have an older home, this could be a big problem. This is why we always recommend people insuring for at least 80% of the replacement cost if you can. Now let's talk about some coverages available through the National Flood Insurance Program and private flood insurance here in 2026. The National Flood Insurance Program here in 2026 offers coverages up to $250,000 on your building and $100,000 on your contents. Remember, typically your bank's not going to require contents coverage, but we do recommend it. However, you want to make sure you have the right contents coverage because we do see this impact rates about 40%. This means if you have the wrong contents coverage, you may be paying 30-40% more than you really should. So how much contents coverage do you really need here? If it's a primary residence, we typically recommend about 50% of the building coverage here. Now, as I said, you've got that $250,000 with the federal program, $100,000 on contents. Remember, contents is anything that's not physically attached to your property that's in your home. Now, imagine tearing your house upside down and things fall out. That would be your personal belongings. Now let's talk about private. On residential especially here in 2026, we see many private carriers going up to $5–10 million now. They can give you that true replacement cost. On contents coverage, they can give you replacement costs on contents. So let's just say that you just bought a TV. It's destroyed by a flood, and you have a National Flood Insurance Program policy. You're going to get what you paid for it. However, if you had a private policy, it could actually pay to what it would truly cost to replace that TV. And it may apply more to a TV maybe that was about 10 years ago. Think about, the depreciation. You're going to get next to nothing for it. But if you got today what it would cost to replace it, that's a pretty big difference. And we've seen it cost hundreds of dollars difference just for a TV here. Now, there's a third coverage available with private flood insurance that's not available with the National Flood Insurance Program. You know what that is? I'll let you think about it for a second. It's called loss of use or additional living expenses. Imagine this. Your property floods and you need a temporary place to live. This would be additional living expenses. I'll give you an example. We had a customer in Nebraska. There was the only one on her blog during the 2018 flood from an ice jam that had a private policy with additional living expenses. She had a hotel paid for 8 months, while her neighbors did not. They had to figure out how to pay for these things on their own. She talked about the financial and the emotional stress this took off of her. And this is key of how additional living expense can be a benefit to you as a homeowner who lives in flood zone AE. So when you're comparing these quotes, that's what you want to look at. Are you getting the full, what I call the full package here? Building coverage, contents coverage, additional living expense versus with the National Flood Insurance Program of just building contents, no replacement cost there. Now let's talk a little bit about pricing difference between these two. On average across the US, from Alabama to California to Hawaii, where we help people every day, we see private flood insurance can be about 50% less in many situations. So it's important that you understand that and that you look at that. Now, when getting quotes from an insurance agent, you want to make sure that insurance agent has given you at least 3 different ones. Now, look, they may not provide that. So, like for example, with us, we may only provide one private flood insurance option, which we see as the best fit. But if a customer asks, we can gladly show them the 5 or 6 different options we looked at for them. So whoever you work with, whether you decide to work with us or someone else, you want to make sure they're at least looking at 3 to 5 different private flood insurance options. The reason is the National Flood Insurance Program, no matter where you go, pricing is the same. However, with private, pricing is going to be different based on each company, based on their contracts with their reinsurance companies and all these different factors. Flood loss history, replacement costs. Each one's going to calculate replacement costs differently. So it can all be a big difference there. Now let's talk about something else that most people think has a big impact on premiums, but it really doesn't. And that is your deductible. On average, if you go from a $1,000 deductible to a $5,000 to even a $10,000, with a National Flood Insurance Program, you're going to save about 2.5%. So that's $2.50 for every $100. So let's just say $1,000 in coverage, $1,000 in premium. You're going to save $25 over the course of a year, but you're going to be taking on $4,000 additional in expenses on a deductible. Remember, you're going to have a different deductible for building, contents, additional living expense. This means if you have a federal policy, you're going to have 2 deductibles. If you have a private policy, you may have 3 deductibles. That can add up. And this is why typically we do not recommend higher deductibles for people, as it just doesn't make sense. In fact, on average, we have discovered it takes almost 97 years to break even on picking that higher deductible. If you've never had a claim and you're looking at just saving money, that's how long it takes you to make up that savings. So think about that when picking your deductible in Flood Zone AE here in 2026. So we've talked about pricing, we talked about flood insurance options, we're talking about the coverages that each one offers. We've talked about your bank requirements. Now let's talk about how to get your bank to accept that private flood insurance policy here in 2026. Your insurance agent needs to provide something called a private flood insurance clause. Now, I'm not going to go through all 10 things. If you click on the corner of this video, I do have a separate video that breaks down the private flood insurance clause where it goes through these 10 things, but I'll just kind of give you some of the things that it needs to mirror with the National Flood Insurance Program, and that is this cancellation rules. Way mortgage companies need to be listed. All these different things. There's a series of 10 different things. And really what your bank's looking for here is that it meets these things. For example, on a cancellation, I think it's at least 45 days notification there that are looking for. The way a mortgage company is notified properly, as you're notified about this and all these different things. Now here at the Flood Insurance Guru, we do not provide any private flood insurance options that do not have this private flood insurance clause, because we want to make sure that your bank is going to accept this flood insurance so you can get back to living life and enjoying this view right here behind me. So we've talked a lot about different things in today's video. And in the corner of this video, you can go dive deeper into our playlist built just for homeowners when it comes to flood insurance. And if you found value in this video, I need you to do me a favor. I want you to hit share, subscribe, and like the channel. And go ahead in the description of this video, if you want to find your flood risk score in your property, and that is the actual overall chances of your property flooding, you can do that down there. You can also download our guide, the Flood Zone AE. Maybe you're ready to go ahead and get that quote on this property in flood zone AE, it's 3 simple steps. Step 1, fill the form on our website. Step 2, connect with myself or one of our flood risk advisors. And step 3, finalize your flood insurance policy in flood zone AE. It's that simple. I'm Chris with the Flood Insurance Guru, and I want to say thank you for watching today's video.